Have you ever walked into your room and felt tired before you even did anything? Not because something terrible happened, not because the day was especially heavy, but because the moment you opened the door, your eyes landed on the clothes on the chair, the dishes waiting in the sink, the bed left undone, the little things scattered everywhere, and suddenly, your body felt heavier. Maybe you told yourself, "I'm just lazy." Maybe you looked around and felt ashamed. Maybe you promised yourself you would clean it later, but later kept moving further away. But what if the mess is not the real problem? What if your room is not just showing you what needs to be cleaned, but what has been quietly building inside you? Because sometimes a messy space is not a sign that you do not care. Sometimes it is a sign that you have been carrying too much for too long. And this is where it gets deeper. Your room may be speaking to your nervous system long before you realize it. Most people think a messy room is just a messy room, but your brain does not experience it that simply. Every object around you is information. The shirt on the floor, the cup on the desk, the pile of papers you keep saying you will deal with later. Even when you are not consciously thinking about them, your mind is still registering them. And each unfinished thing whispers the same message. Not done yet. That is why you can sit down to rest, but still feel strangely restless. Your body is on the couch, but your nervous system is still scanning the room. It sees disorder. It sees tasks. It sees small reminders of everything you have delayed. And slowly, your home stops feeling like a place to recover. It becomes another place where your mind has to work. Maybe this is why you feel tired after doing nothing. Maybe this is why you open your phone instead of cleaning, not because the phone helps, but because it gives you somewhere else to look. But the room is still there. And deep down, you know it. This does not mean you are broken. It means your environment is affecting you more than you realize. And this is where it becomes deeper, because clutter does not only affect your focus, it can also affect how safe you feel inside your own life. There are so many things in life you cannot control. You cannot control what other people think of you. You cannot control how someone replies to your message. You cannot control the mood of your boss, the traffic outside, the bills that arrive, or the way tomorrow will unfold. And when too many things feel uncertain, something inside you begins to look for one small place where you can still have power. Sometimes that place is your room. You may not be able to fix your whole life in one afternoon, but you can clear the table. You can make the bed. You can wash one cup. You can put one thing back where it belongs. And that small action sends a quiet message to your nervous system. I can still do something. That message matters more than people realize. Because when life feels chaotic, cleaning is not just about making things look better. It is about proving to yourself that not everything is beyond your reach. This is why a clean surface can feel like relief. This is why a made bed can feel like a small victory. This is why, after cleaning, you sometimes breathe differently. Not because the room is perfect, but because for a moment, something in your life responded to your effort. And maybe that is why a clean space can feel so emotional. It is not really about the table. It is about the part of you that needs to feel capable again. There is a kind of mess that does not come from laziness. It comes from being tired in a place no one can see. Maybe you have had days where you looked at your room and knew exactly what needed to be done. You saw the clothes, you saw the dishes, you saw the trash that should have been taken out yesterday. And still your body did not move. So you judged yourself. You called yourself lazy, undisciplined, disgusting, behind. But maybe the truth is softer than that. Maybe your mind has been carrying too many open tabs. Maybe your heart has been holding too many unspoken feelings. Maybe your body has been surviving on stress for so long that even simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain. When you are emotionally overloaded, the smallest things can feel strangely impossible. Not because you do not care, but because caring requires energy. Starting requires energy. Choosing requires energy. And sometimes you have already spent all of it just trying to get through the day without falling apart. So the mess grows. And with it, the shame grows too. But shame rarely helps you clean. It usually makes you freeze. This is why cleaning cannot begin as punishment. It has to begin as compassion. One small corner, one cup, one shirt, one breath. Not to prove you are worthy, but to remind yourself that you are still here. And once you understand this, cleaning stops being a punishment. It becomes a way of gently returning to yourself. At some point, cleaning stops being only about the room. It starts becoming about who you believe you are. This is why two people can look at the same small mess and respond completely differently. One person sees a few things out of place and thinks, I'll put them back now. Another person sees the same mess and thinks, this is just how I am. And that sentence matters. Because the moment you believe you are a messy person, every mess becomes evidence. Every unfinished task becomes proof. Every pile of clothes silently confirms the story you already carry about yourself. But identity is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built quietly. Every time you make your bed, you give your mind a new piece of evidence. Every time you wash the cup, instead of leaving it there, you tell yourself, I am someone who follows through. Every time you return one thing to its place, you are not just organizing your space. You are organizing your self-image. And this is why small actions can feel strangely powerful. Because you are not trying to become perfect. You are trying to become familiar with a new version of yourself. A version that cares. A version that finishes small things. A version that does not abandon their own environment. And this is why the smallest action can feel strangely powerful. Because you are not only cleaning your room, you are rewriting the way you see yourself. Sometimes people clean because the house is dirty. But sometimes they clean because their heart feels loud. There is a reason you may suddenly want to organize something when you feel anxious. There is a reason you may start wiping the counter after an argument, folding laundry when your thoughts will not slow down, or rearranging your desk when you feel lost inside. Cleaning gives your emotions somewhere to go. It takes the nervous energy trapped in your body and turns it into movement. Your hands begin to work. Your breathing changes. Your eyes see progress. Something that was chaotic becomes simple again. And that can be deeply calming. Not because cleaning solves everything, but because it gives your mind a clear beginning, middle, and end. You pick something up. You put it where it belongs. You see the result immediately. And for a person who feels overwhelmed by life, that kind of immediate clarity can feel like medicine. This is especially powerful at night. When you spend 10 quiet minutes putting the day away, you are not just cleaning your space. You are creating a boundary. You are telling your mind, this day is finished. You do not have to carry it into bed. And perhaps the clean room you are trying to create is really a quiet message to yourself. I deserve to come home to peace. Maybe your home does not need to become perfect. Maybe it only needs to become a place where your nervous system can finally exhale. You do not have to clean everything today. You do not have to become someone who never leaves a dish in the sink, never drops clothes on the chair, never has a difficult week where things fall apart. You are human. But maybe you can begin with one small space. One corner of the room, one side of the bed, one table, one drawer, one place that tells your mind, I am allowed to care for myself here. Because cleaning is not only about removing dust. Sometimes it is about removing the silent messages that say you do not matter, your peace does not matter, your environment does not matter. It does. You do. And every small act of care becomes evidence. Evidence that you can return. Evidence that you can begin again. Evidence that even when life feels messy, you do not have to abandon yourself inside the mess. Sometimes, the room you clean is not just the room you live in. It is the part of you that has been waiting to feel safe again. If this made you feel seen, you can stay with this channel for more reflections like this.